Hey friends, so as you know, I dropped a whole ecco2k and Bladee tutorial just like a month ago. Anyways, after this new track Amygdala came out, I realized that there's really two different directions that ecco2k and Bladee have taken the sound over the past couple years. So while the older Rip Squad releases and much of Bladee's solo work has the more cloud rap style sound, ecco2k has been moving in a more electro and even hyperpop style direction. The album E was for sure an experimental masterpiece. Last year's PXE EP I think took that experimentation even further, but I think we're also going to see Drain Gang leaning into a more hyperpop and club inspired sound moving forward. I know there's a lot of haters out there that don't properly appreciate Mechatok, but his production on Amygdala and throughout the whole Good Luck project I think has given Drain Gang a whole new palette of sounds to work with, and that is super dope. So if you want to know how to make a drained cloud rap type beat, definitely check out the other tutorial. Here we're going to be making a track similar to Amygdala. I honestly really like this track because it just seems like a more fully developed version of the hyperpop style that Drain Gang and Mechatok have been working on for the past couple years. Maybe you don't agree with me when I say this, but I really appreciate the creative risks they're taking and look forward to hearing what else they've been working on. Now, I don't want to keep you all waiting here too long, but I just wanted to mention that I'm on the road to 10k subs this year. 85% of people who watch these videos are not subscribed yet, but if you subscribe, you can help me reach that goal. I'm just a random cartoon character from Florida who's been making beats since I was in elementary school, and by subscribing to the channel, you're really helping me make a living doing the only thing I'm really passionate about. I can't even begin to express how much that really means to me. Thank you. Also, please be sure to like this video, join my Discord, add me on socials, and sign up for the free newsletter. Links to all of that are down in the description. Now let's dive in.
Don't play.
So I started off this cookup by looking for a sample to chop up from the Drain Plug Loop Kit with Lil Bird. You can pick up a copy of the Drain Plug Loop Kit at andrewtheavatar.com, and remember that every single download of the Drain Plug Loop Kit helps support the creation of more drained content like this. So we're going to start by loading in this loop from the Drain Plug Kit into Fruity Slicer. Next we're going to select half beat slice mode because the goal is to create a kind of rhythmic synth pattern similar to Amygdala. Finally I adjusted the attack and release to give the sound smoother transients. Now we just add some distortion. Now we're going to pan the synths around the stereo field by using Alt plus R to randomize the pan. Next I cloned that main melody and pitched it up an octave. Also this counter melody. So I use this Waves Max Bass plugin to add a bit more low frequency definition to the track. Unlike an EQ, this plugin actually introduces new bass frequencies. That said, you can get a pretty similar result by boosting the bass in an EQ. Using RC20, I was able to give the track a bit more of a vintage techno feel. Then I rendered everything down as one sample. I pitched the new sample up one semitone to give it a more frantic energy. To really define the pulse of this track, I had the kick hit with every single synth stab. And we're just going to keep layering on top of this, so now we have an 808 here. If you want to use the same drum sounds that I used in this track, be sure to check out Geology's Alchemic Catalyst drum kit. Seriously, I don't know a single producer who's more skilled when it comes to original drum sound synthesis. I wish I was better at keeping secrets, but I'm just way too excited about this. Low-key, Geology and I are actually working on our own original kit together right now. I can't tell you much more than that right now, but it's going to be super lit. So if you want to be the first to get on the list to hear about it, be sure to text the word drums to the number 786-751-5798. Also, when you text that number, I'm going to send you a free copy of my original Fortune 50 drum kit. I don't want you to miss out, so again, be sure to text me the word drums at 786-751-5798. Now let's get back into this track. Now we're going to layer a couple bass synth patches on top of the kick and 808. This entire track hinges on that one pulsating rhythm, so we really can't skimp on sound design. I want to do a full tutorial on this at some point, but the way that I generally go about these hyperpop synth bass patches is by using very basic waveforms, layering it with noise, and adding in some distortion. There's really no need to make it any more complicated than that, although there are a lot of different little tricks that you can do with sound design, and I could definitely go a lot deeper into this process, so I'm going to roll out a full tutorial at some point teaching exactly how to do hyperpop bass sound design. Now we just draw on the bass line. Now we've layered the synth patch with a new synth patch, and this one is going to be raised 7 semitones, so that way it plays the 5th of every single note. This is something that I love to do, and if you watch a lot of my cookups, you probably see this all the time, but it's going to add power chords into the mix without even having to draw on the power chords. The synth is going to handle all the power chords for us. I set up a low-pass filter sweep automation using Fruity Parametric EQ on the master. This is one of those classic techno and EDM effects that just has to be in a mix like this. Because this track revolves so much around that one consistent rhythm throughout the entire track, it was a little bit difficult to make the arrangement interesting throughout. Still, I think one of the most beautiful things about music production is being able to have the opportunity to confront those creative challenges and grow. For this track, I of course relied very heavily on that filter sweep. I also relied very heavily on a lot of the different random kind of robotic sounds that Geology has in his Alchemic Catalyst drum kit, which is just going to give the track a bit of intrigue at various points, like wherever I want a kind of sharper, interesting sound, that kit has tons of great sounds to use for that. I also just experimented with a lot of different sounds and automations. I honestly didn't keep the majority of what I ended up trying here, but because I tried a bunch of different things, I was able to find some things that really stuck, and I think that's something that really can help overcome that kind of producer block sometimes. I think one of the most important things as a producer is being able to course correct quickly. That ability to course correct is of course something that comes with practice, but I really believe that anybody can develop that skill, and just learning how to basically find the sounds that work best for you as a producer and figuring out how to also experiment beyond that boundary and beyond, you know, that kind of idea of what your sound is always going to allow you to continuously grow as a producer. And that's really the key to any kind of track. I know it's a bit of a tangent, but I really hope that you're able to understand that. Truth be told, it can be a little bit tempting to stick with what's most comfortable as a producer. However, the ambition to experiment with new sounds is always going to push you further. That's honestly what I love so much about what Drain Gang is doing with this newest string of tracks. Never be afraid to try something new with your sound. Transition. Did you give this beat a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I'm feeling a strong 10 on all Drain Gang releases ever. Click this card to watch another Drain Gang tutorial, or click this card to listen to the full beat from this video. Thank you again. I'll see you next time.